All right, man. Welcome to Dario Mambo Show. Welcome for being here today. Good morning,
man. Good morning, bruh. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. So who do I have the pleasure with speaking today? What's your name? What do you do?
My name is Arturo Garcia. I'm a real estate agent. I've been in the industry for a year. I am also known as Art Show, a DJ Art Show.
DJ Art Show?
DJ Art Show. I am a dance instructor, performer, Latin DJ for the Latin dance community.
And you do real estate.
I'm in real estate. I wear so many hats.
So question, do you do real estate on the side or you do dancing on the side?
I do dancing on the side.
Dancing
on the side. Yeah, real estate is my main focus in my career.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get right into it. I got a couple questions for you. Being a newcomer in the industry, you have about a year of experience under your belt. So let's dive right into these questions. Okay.
Awesome.
Our show, as a newcomer to the real estate industry in San Antonio, Texas, what unexpected hurdles have you encountered?
Well, getting in the industry, I'm barely going to be in it for a year. Coming in this March, it'll be a year. Nobody preps you for what you're getting into. You get your license, whatever you learn in that school, whatever you learn and study,
right,
goes out the window the first day you go into the industry. Nobody preps you for what you're really getting into.
You said nobody preps you, but you get your real estate license and you go through a 180-hour course.
Yeah. So you're prepped in a sense of like, you're good to know certain stuff that you probably will use a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you get into the field, when it comes to like negotiating or dealing with your clients or, dealing with contracts or like, what amendments or addendums you gotta, connect, all that stuff, it's not applied really in your tests,
right?
And the tests that you got to take.
So when you're going through your course, no one told you, hey, you're going to learn all this stuff. You're going to get your license, but day one, you ain't going to know anything.
yeah, exactly. You go in there thinking like, okay, I'm going to do these courses. I'm going to be really good. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to use everything that I learned. And, and you do to some extent you do.
Right.
But when it comes to other stuff, sometimes you're not prepped. You don't know certain stuff. And obviously, it's like anything else. But
I got a funny story. When I first got licensed, I remember I was working with a client and we saw all these mini homes. When she finally wanted to make a contract, she asked me, okay, Dario, this is the house I want to see. I mean, this is the house I want to make an offer on. It's like, what do we have to do? And in the moment, I remember thinking like, I had no idea what to do. And I told her, I kind of winged it. I said, okay, well, let me go back to my office. This is late at night. So let me go back to my office, put some paperwork together, and I'll send it your way. And then, we can talk. And I went home and I looked up like how to write a contract. No one taught me how to write a contract. No one taught me how to understand it. No one taught me how to explain it. It took me like 3 hours to write the contract. Well, now it takes me like 10 minutes. But again, no one told us that in the beginning.
Nope. Yeah. No, unless you get training at your brokerage or stuff like that. But no, there's no paper. There's no guide. There's nothing that you can follow that would tell you, okay, this is what you got to fill out. This is what you got to check. Yep. Make sure you check this little box. It's really important. It's small little stuff, details that you can miss that are super important.
So that's the practice of real estate. What about the industry itself? Like what's some of the unexpected hurdles you have encountered about the industry itself?
So, obviously also keeping up with the trends of like the market, you have to keep up with your market. You have to keep up with your cities and obviously the markets that you work in. I try to focus mainly in San Antonio, but I also do business in Laredo because I was born and raised in Laredo and I have a lot of my sphere of influence that's from Laredo.
Sphere of influence? What's that?
So it's mainly like your circle. It's the circle of people that you deal with, your friends, family, people that you might have worked with.
So people in your social media, are those your sphere of influence, or how do you make that distinction?
Not necessarily. I make that myself. I make that with people that I see almost. I try to make it small. Obviously I have several circles, but the main one is mainly like my friends, people that I see more often than not. Obviously on social media, if you follow me, you could have 1,000 followers, or 2,000 or whatever the number is, but that doesn't mean you see them every day.
Gotcha.
So that's how I distinguish them. But that was one of the things, keeping up with the trends. Obviously when I got into the industry, it was a crazy time with the market. Interest rates went up, our economy was like.
When did you get into the market?
I got into the industry in March of last year.
2023. So that whole year interest rates went up and up and up.
Non-stop.
And up and up and up and up.
Non-stop.
So you had an uphill battle from the start.
From the start. It
Wow.
it was crazy, you know, and again, nobody preps you for that.
Yeah.
Nobody preps you for that.
I don't think anyone's ready for that.
Nobody really does. Nobody tells you what to do, you know,
Yeah.
if like cases like that go by or like
Yeah.
how do you, so going into this, I was like, man, well, like, you know, I'm in this in a very, very, very tough, you know, situation or a very, very tough phase of the
Yeah.
market.
Mhm.
But that was one of the things, you know, our interest rates for buyers were, you know, they were trying to get qualified or trying to get approved and seeing what they can afford.
Mhm.
But the interest rates made it a little bit tougher, you know.
Yeah.
Once they started talking to a lender and they
Gotcha.
could see what they could afford, they were like, oh man, you
Yeah.
know, I thought I was going to be able to afford a bigger house,
But-
you know, or
But now it changed.
yeah, now it's like
So,
changed.
Speaking of buyers, I have another question regarding that. Some say that first-time home buyers aren't fully aware of what they're getting into. How do you help your clients understand the commitment?
So I try to meet in person, face to face. I try to build that relationship. I focus more on building that relationship with you rather than being salesy. I want to get to know you. I want to know your goals and what you're trying to get out of the process.
Yeah.
Obviously, first time home buyers, when it comes to first time home buyers, a lot of them don't know the process.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's
Yeah.
completely fine. You know, that's our job,
Right.
to educate and guide you through the whole process. So when I meet with a person that
So our job isn't to post on social media that we close houses and what's our real job?
yeah, our real job is to educate people, you know, through of the home buying process, you know, guide them through the whole, and, you know, and hopefully, you know, you have a good real estate agent that can make you, you know, help you make educational choices, you know, and smart moves.
So what are you doing to help educate your clients,
So
your sphere of influence?
when I meet in person, if I get somebody that reaches out to me, you know, that they're interested in buying, I meet with you. First meeting is, you know, educating you through the process, you know, walking you through the whole process. And, you know, there might be terms that you don't know, like inspection and appraisal, you know, all this
Earnest
other
money,
earnest money, escrow and all this other stuff, you know, and it's okay. It's fine not to know, you know? And so I take them through the whole process, you know, I walk them, I explain, you know, I ask if they have any questions. That'll be more like my first meeting, you know, and hopefully the second meeting, you know, go a little bit more over the financials. If that's something that they really want to do, like buying a house, then okay, all right, let's sit down, let's go over your budget, your financials, let's get you in contact with a lender. Let's see what we can get you pre-approved for.
Right. Most people, most first-time home buyers, do they have an idea what they want, or they're not sure? In other words, do they know, hey, Art, I know I want to buy a $300,000 home, or is it more, hey, I'm not sure what I can qualify for?
I think there's both scenarios, you know, there's both scenarios. And a lot of people are mainly like, hey, you know, I want this big house and like this and that. And I'm always like, hey, you know, your first house doesn't have to be your forever home, you know? So I always try and, you know, remind people that, you know, just what, you know, if you're qualified for this or you're approved for this, that doesn't mean you have to live in that house forever. You know? And, you know, just because you can afford a big house doesn't mean you should get one, you know, it has to make sense. Does it work with your budget? You know, does it work with your future plans? You know, are you trying to grow? Are you trying to, is it only going to be you living in that house? You know, and in the future, in the next 5 years, are you going to get married? Are you going to expect a baby? Or,
these are all things to consider, right?
Everything. Everything. So it's you have both cases. So sometimes home buyers don't know what like, or they don't know what the market. They don't know what the average price is, or you know, or what they don't know, or they don't know the inventory and stuff like that.
Might have been influenced by their uncle or your dad who bought a house 20 years ago, and those strategies and those tactics aren't true today. You know, because it changes.
The market changes every day.
So you mentioned something about, you know, you try not to be too salesy when you first meet with clients, that you try to consult with them. Another question I have for you: some viewers might believe that real estate agents always push for a sale, even if it's not the best option for the buyer. How do you strike that balance?
Yeah, so I pride myself on helping out my clients. You know, I treat my clients how I want to be treated. You know, so obviously it's like any other industry, you have other agents, you know, that are more focused on making the sell. But me myself, I focus more on your interests. You know, on helping you because at the end of the day, I want what's best for you, and I want that relationship to last.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want,
as opposed to making a quick buck.
yeah, exactly. So
Mm.
yeah, so I don't want you. I'm not gonna be like, hey, this is a house for you. You need to get this.
Yeah.
Like, let's close on it.
Right.
You know, and then down the line, you know, something happens, and you know, let's say you can't afford it anymore, and
Right.
you know, you have to foreclose or something.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't want that. You know, if you go into a property and it's not a smart investment, I will tell you, you know,
Right.
I would tell you at the end of the day, it's your decision. It's the client's
Right.
decision. You know,
Right.
if they really want to pull the trigger, go ahead by
Mhm.
all means. But I will make it a point to let you know and be like, hey, I don't think you should make this
Yeah.
move, or I think there's other options
Or
that you
these are
can do.
things to consider.
Yeah.
You make the decision, but I'm gonna put all the options on the table.
Exactly.
All the things to consider on the table.
hmm
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you know, the decision is theirs. If you know they want to go with my recommendation, or
Yeah.
if they want to do their own thing, okay, by all means, go ahead. You know, but for me, that's what I focus on.
Okay. And so when buyers are looking for homes, so I have another question. This is regarding like when clients are looking for homes. Some people believe that with the online property listings, real estate agents are no longer needed. What's your response?
Is that in regards to like AI also, like and
More
stuff
about
that?
like, you know, Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin. You know, most people on their phone, they have
Excuse me.
access to listings almost
Yeah.
as much as real estate agents. So are we even needed? Real estate agents even needed? What's your response?
We are needed. I think we are we're a big thing. Even like regardless, even with AI, I don't think we will be replaced. We offer a lot of insights, you know, like
Right.
Zillow doesn't, and all this other stuff, and like we can run reports, like
Yeah.
you know, comps,
Right.
comparables.
Right.
You know, we can give you a true value of like, hey, this house might not be, you know, this is not what the price,
Yeah.
or it's not priced to what that neighborhood or that
Mhm.
market, you know.
Mhm.
So we bring those insights, and you know, we also deal with emotions,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
and emotions come into play when it comes to negotiations.
Yep.
You know, from the seller side, you might have somebody that's selling a house that might be living there for the past 5, 15,
Yeah.
10 years,
They're
you know.
attached.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they build their family there, you know, they
Yeah.
had their first
So they
baby
take
there,
everything personal.
memories and stuff, you
Yeah.
know. So you have emotions tied when it comes to the seller side. And then on the buyer side, you might have a first-time home buyer that's excited to buy a first-time home
Right.
buyer. So all that stuff comes into play when it comes to negotiations.
Mhm.
And you know, when you have a real estate agent, we can take that into account when it comes to negotiations, and you know, and try and get the best deal that we can for our
Yeah.
clients.
Right.
So yeah, so I don't think
So it's easy to look online, and it's true. You know, like anyone has access to 100 apps out there that can help you find the listings that you're looking for. So you don't need a realtor to go online and look for a house that you find interesting. But then it sounds like what you're saying is like once you have a house that you're interested in, there's a huge process in going from okay, I like this house to owning the house.
yeah,
And that process is what you think is what needed the real estate
is needed
is
for.
needed for.
Yeah, that's where we come into play and guide you through the whole process.
Mm.
Yeah, because some people might not be educated on why get an inspection. You know.
Would you agree that real estate is probably one of the biggest purchases people make in their lifetime?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's probably important to have like a professional to help consult and guide you through that process as
Yeah.
opposed to just buying something online like
Exactly.
Amazon, right?
Yeah. No, it's totally different. It's a big investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very big investment in someone's life.
So some people say real estate industry will be like an Amazon where you can just look online, click button and get the keys. You think that will ever happen?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't. Even with AI, you know, like just the way that it's grown so much in
Yeah.
such a short amount of time, you
Right.
know. It's like back in the day, you know, I think we're gonna use AI to our advantage, and you
Right.
know, and for us to work smarter.
Right.
Just like back in the day, you know, when the
Mhm.
first tractor came out for farmers, you
Yeah.
know, they thought that they was gonna replace farmers,
Mm.
but in a sense, it didn't. You know, it just helped farmers make more business.
Right.
You know, increase
Right.
their crops.
So AI is a new
It's a new
tractor.
tool. Yes, it's a new tractor. It's a new tool. You have to
Nice.
use it to your advantage.
All right. I have another question here for you, Art. So, how do you address concerns that real estate agents might exploit first-time home buyers' lack of knowledge about the process?
There's real estate agents out there that are shady. You know.
Yeah.
There is. It's like any other
Yeah.
industry.
So you don't need like a Harvard-educated degree to get your real estate license.
You don't.
Mm.
You don't. You don't. All you need is money. You need to go to take the online classes, or
Yeah.
you go to school. study for the test, pass the test,
Yeah.
you get a license, go into a brokerage, get
So it
sponsored
sounds like
by
the
a
barrier
brokerage.
to entry to get your license is pretty low.
It is.
Pretty
It's-
low.
it's pretty
And
low.
That's probably why you say that there's a wide spectrum of professionals in this industry,
Mhm.
and that's why you say there's some shady people, but there's also some high level professionals.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. And so that's why it's very important when it comes to the interview process, to really get to know whoever you're interviewing and
The
what
interview process.
well, you have to interview to get I would recommend is
Yeah,
for you to
yeah.
interview real estate agents when you're trying to, make
So a client shouldn't just pick their cousin or their friend or someone they know that's a real estate agent. Like, what's your recommendation?
Yeah, so my recommendation is to sit down with real estate agents, get to know them, interview them, ask them what they, what are they bringing to the
Yeah.
table. Even myself, like just
Mhm.
being new to the industry,
Right.
I'm part of a team,
Mhm.
and I bring a team of experience of
Mm.
20 plus years.
Right.
And then one of my team leads, it's a PT 50, an
Yeah.
award winner.
Yeah.
What does that mean? It's
Yeah.
just a top agent in the
Nice.
city, the top 50 agent in
Yeah.
the city. So I bring all that. That's in my corner. That's
And why is that important to you as opposed to not being on the team?
well, not being in a team and then coming in the industry, it's like you say,
Yeah.
like your experience,
Yeah.
you there's nothing there to guide you.
No one there.
No one. You're essentially fish thrown out in the ocean, and,
Right.
and you have to kind of figure it out.
Mm.
And and when you're part of a team, there's some cons that people think, like the structure and the commission and all this other
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah.
but I think when you're starting out, it's essential, and I think
Right.
it helps you a lot, just because you're coming into an industry maybe that you don't know anything about. So when you have team leads or mentors or business coaches or any other stuff
Yeah.
like that can help you, guide you,
Yeah.
and and keep you accountable, it helps a lot.
So it sounds like in order for you to set yourself apart and not be that agent that's shady, that you felt it was important to be attached to experienced agents in a team to help you guide.
To me it was. Yeah, to me it was, just because I had no sales experience before being a real estate agent. I had zero sales experience. So to me, joining a team was beneficial to me. It might not be the case for somebody else, but for me it was.
Right.
Just to get that experience and to have that backing from team leads that know what they're doing. And I can rely on them.
Right.
I don't know everything about the real estate industry.
Right.
If there's a problem that I'm going to encounter,
Yeah.
I will encounter it, because
Yeah.
I don't know everything.
Right.
And so, and every day is different, and every transaction is different. So if I have a question, knowing that I can rely on my team leads, just give them a text and they're going to help me out, or they're going to be there for me. And they're also keeping me accountable. That's a big thing. Joining this industry, the flexibility that you get with this job, you're essentially your own boss.
Right.
And being at a young age, your own boss, and having a small business, and like nobody teaches you how to run a business, and especially structure a business. So having these people keeping you accountable and offering their experience, and it just helps you. It helps you. It's a big backing.
I have a question for you here. This is a little bit different. Goes based off commissions. So this has kind of been a topic recently in the national real estate news, right? There's a belief that the real estate industry isn't clear enough about its commission rates. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on.
Yeah.
It is crazy, but I think it's clear as day. When sellers sign their agreements, it's all in the contract. And if you have a good real estate agent or a good professional, you sit down and you go over the commission structure when you're going over a listing presentation.
To make it clear,
you have to make it clear
how the parties involved get compensated.
exactly. You go over the numbers, and then essentially, the sellers sign up for it. They agree to it. You sign a contract, and it's in the contract.
Yeah.
The whole commissions and everything, it's in the contract when you sign a listing agreement. So I think it's clear when it comes to people, saying, they've kind of forced me to do this and that, and you don't have to use that real estate agent. If he's charging you more than another one, you don't have to. You don't have to sign that agreement.
So whose choice does it rely on?
It's the choice of the seller or the client, or you make the choice, and and I think people need to take responsibility for the choices that they made. They signed a contract,
right,
and they agreed to that commission split. So then, to go back into and be like, hey, they forced me to, pay this commission. I just think it's crazy, and it's crazy and what's going on, and but at the end of the day, it is what it is. And
what's your opinion about real estate agents and how we get compensated? There's a lot of talk about, agents get paid a lot. You're in the real estate industry, you make a lot of money, but the grind of it. It's a lot of work. But what's your take on how real estate agents get paid and the commissions?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and I don't think people are aware of that. I think people see the glamour and all this stuff.
They probably see people posting video tours and then picking up a check for thousands of dollars.
Exactly. And I always tell people this. You see some sort of like of what goes into what we do. If like the videos that we put us on social media, like maybe us being at a networking event, or partying it up, or networking with people, or being in luxury homes and all this other stuff, but they're not aware that there's a lot of fees that go into this industry. A lot of fees. There's a lot that goes into it.
As soon as you get licensed, you start spending money way before you start making money.
Yeah, you spend a lot of money before you make any money. And and there's fees for the brokerage. There's fees to the MLS, and there's fees to Sabor, and there's fees to, and then there's even fees for, like, you have to pay a photographer to take listing photos. And there's so much, like, our budget for marketing. You have to buy everything that comes out of our pocket to make our business work. So people are not aware of everything that goes into our industry, and so they think we make a lot of money, but they don't take into account all the fees that are going out,
all the expenses, right?
All the expenses, our emissions, our insurance, all this other stuff that we have to make sure that are taken care of,
right? In order for us to do the work,
in order to be in the industry even in itself, because we got to pay our fees for our broker as well every month. So that's one of the things. I don't think people are aware of all the money that goes out, and then obviously the money that we get paid.
Right.
Yeah, it's something different, but that's what I think about it.
So how would you say, okay, this is a really good real estate agent compared to this is a really bad real estate agent? What's the difference between the two?
What I think is obviously the experience that they bring to the table. The communication is very important to have. Really, really, really important to have communication, because I've dealt with some real estate agents that take forever to get back to you or answer a text, So I think communication, obviously their experience, obviously if they're competent, to do the job, and then they know their market. I think knowing their market is really, really, really big. You have some agents that, deal a lot, and they can sell here in San Antonio, you can sell Houston, but as long as you know the market, if you know the market, by all means, but if you're just doing it just to do it, then it's different, because like we can sell Houston, right? But I don't sell Houston because I don't know the market, I have zero knowledge of the market in Houston, and it's completely different from San Antonio.
Way different.
Way different. San Antonio is a big city, but compared to Houston, it's a completely different animal. And I don't know. And I barely know Houston, I barely know the neighborhoods and stuff like that. So I think being competent and like knowing your market, it's very, very, very big.
And
communication, not even like just with clients, but with other agents. And others,
being professional overall.
Being professional all around, it's like, you just have to be a complete professional, for me. And then I think that's a very, very, very important thing.
Well, good. I love the answer. Got one more question for you.
Yeah.
All right. So you've been in this industry about a year now, going on 2, but you have the backing of 20 plus years with the team you're on. But let's take it back, to when you first considered getting a real estate license, when you, that time of your life. What do you wish you knew then that you know now about the real estate industry?
When I got back into it, man, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had a sense of what I was getting into.
Right.
But I had no idea. Like,
so what is it you wish you knew then that like would help you at least for the first year now that you've gone through your first year?
Keeping yourself accountable. Yeah, that's one thing. You don't have a boss, okay? You don't have a boss. You don't have a boss. So keeping yourself accountable and being aware that you're gonna go into an industry where there's nobody that's gonna be on you.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to get this done.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to go after this.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to do this to generate business.
Right.
Hey, you need to go this, and that. All this other stuff. I was aware that, that you go into this, the flexibility that you get and all this other stuff and the pros and the cons and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I was aware of all that. But once you get into it, you're like, man, okay. So
especially if you're going full time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's such a tough market,
Yeah.
but no, I wish I knew more about lead gen.
Yeah.
A little bit more about lead generating. What can I do to generate more business? Because essentially you have to generate your own business in this industry. You have to, you really do. And if you're not, then what are you doing?
Yeah. You're just kind of waiting around.
Because that's the biggest part of our business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lead generating. And obviously that maybe even a little bit more about negotiating, because I had zero sales experience. But that comes with time. Right. It comes with time. Yeah. The more transactions you close and the more experience you get with time, you get more educated.
Yeah, you'll get that.
But I think those two things were probably the biggest things, and keeping yourself accountable.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. You have to,
exercising your discipline.
Big time, man. You have to have that hustle in you.
You didn't realize that weight was pretty heavy, right?
Not at all, man. We don't have a paycheck. You know this. No.
We
don't have a paycheck.
Yeah.
We don't get paid every 2 weeks or a week. We get paid until we close on a transaction.
Yeah, sometimes that can take months.
Yeah, months.
Yeah,
months. And it's crazy, and nobody prepares you for that.
You have every level of your life, you just have to be disciplined.
You
so
do.
Last final thought is, what would you say to those inspired to get their license? What's the final words you would say there?
I would say, go for it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. But be aware that you need to have that hustle mentality. You need to really want it. You have to be hungry for it, because there's nobody that's going to be out there and, give you handouts or, like, here you go. Here's a free transaction.
Free transaction.
Like, here's a seller, or a buyer, So I would say go for it. If you really want to do it, by all means, go for it. But be aware, that there's a lot of money that's going to go out before you make any money. Be aware that you got to have to want it. You got to have that hunger, and you got to go out there and generate your own business.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest things that I would tell anybody. Just be aware of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
With that being said, I think we're done here.
Awesome, man.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
How can people find you?
Instagram. Instagram at Art Show. Art_show with 3 Ws.
Nice.
3 Ws.
Yeah.
And then my realtor one is ArturoG.realtor. I'm also on Facebook.
Nice.
YouTube, TikTok, anything. I'm
Okay.
all over the place, man.
All right. You heard it.
Awesome.
Find them. All right. And we're done.